Welcome to Built for This. I'm your host, Brian Briscoe. My podcast features captivating conversations with intriguing people who have found purpose in their lives through their career, family, or life experiences, and just why they were built for this. Through the stories that you will hear, I trust that you will be inspired and encouraged to find just what you were built for. So let's get started. And welcome to another episode of Built for This. And in the studio, I'm very happy to have a guest that you'll find, I think, very entertaining and inspiring. She's an entrepreneur, podcaster of her own, and quite an inspiration for women. And we're going to talk about that in depth. But Carla Shellis is my guest. And so, Carla, thank you for being in the episode
Brian,
today.
thank you so much for having me. This is exciting. I just feel like you're family to me.
Well, we kind of are. You're very connected to my brother and sister-in-law, and could talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing so many great things, and I want to talk about all of them if I can get them in here.
Let's do it.
For women in particular, and just a lot of inspiration for the women that want to better themselves, inspire themselves. We're going to talk about etiquette, emotional etiquette. But first I would like to start is where or when was there a moment that came along for you that said, you know what, there's a need for this kind of thing for women to maybe reconnect with themselves, find the femininity for being in a home and just finding their purpose again. What was it that kind of ticked off a little point for you that said, I need to be doing this?
So really my own story, Brian. I mean, I've been married 36 years to my husband, and, you know, he's from England. I'm from here. I grew up Mexican-American. He's Greek, Italian, English, like literally not, you know, sometimes people say that and it's like 4 generations ago, my dad was in Greece. No, my father-in-law is literally from Cyprus.
Okay.
My mother-in-law's dad was from Rome, Italy, and came over. And then I'm Mexican-American, literally. And so to me, it was a great union, but then it was a great storm, you know, because we had so many different backgrounds. And what I found through my years of struggling in and out, having highs and lows in my marriage, I found that my heart was really for the things that I wanted to be and do, but I felt so completely restricted based on the expectations around me and the pressure of upholding every responsibility that I had as a woman, as a mom, as a wife, and then losing my identity and all that. And I couldn't, I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. I you know, checked off every single box, you know, quiet time every day, go to church 3 times a week, you know, all the things that we as Christians think we have to do to be, you know, good Christians. So I still couldn't find that abundant life God was talking about. I could see it, but I couldn't find it within me. And so then I had a couple of times when I just hit the wall in our marriage. We had really rough seasons. And I remember thinking, I just got to get out of this. I cannot do this anymore. Well, God just met me in that dark place and showed me, no, you're looking at the outside to change and be happy. You got to look on the inside. And this is a very like flyover, because I could talk about this for 10 hours.
Sure.
But the idea was I was looking to fix my husband. I was looking to change my children. I was looking to fix my parents and my siblings and all the different things, but I would never look at me. And so that was in my 25th year of marriage. So it wasn't until I started doing that I realized the freedom that I felt, which is why I created what I call the freedom formula.
Yeah.
And the reason I call it that is because it's the formula that I was given by God to set myself free. And the difference, Brian, in the way I thought and the way I saw the world and the way I saw my responsibilities as a wife, a mother, an entrepreneur, a founder, all the things, was so different. And so when you get that good taste, you know, when you go to a good restaurant, you're like, have you tried this place? We got to go.
Right.
It is so good. And that's kind of the way I felt about it. Well, then I got led into working with sex trafficking victims, which I had no idea that was not on my dream board.
Yeah.
Ever.
No, who would be?
No. And so I sat on a board of directors for one safe house, and I volunteered twice a week at this safe house for 2.5 years and loved it. But then God just called me into a place of ownership and founding and leading an organization of actually restoring these girls right after they were rescued. Yep. And that changed my life, because what I saw was, I called them my Navy SEAL of women. And this is really to land the plane, the answer is when I saw a woman who had been raped up to 12 times a day for months on end come to a place of safety and security and rest. The resilience and the fight that women in general have within their souls is undeniable. And when I got to see that spirit come back out of shrapnel, I call it shrapnel because it's like they've been in a blender. They're a million pieces.
Sure, yeah.
To fight by activating that feminine fiber that God showed me for me, it changed everything. And then I had this zest in my mouth and in my heart to get it out to as many women as I can. In 2010, God gave me a mission to restore the home, the family, and the marriage through the woman. That was my mission. And then he said, you'll start with the broken of the broken, and what you build for them, you'll take out to everyone. So I did that for 10 years, and now I'm in the everyone phase.
Yeah.
And so that's really where that zest and that desire and that passion has come from, is my story, and then watching what I was able to use for myself work for them.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, everybody's got to know about this.
And so you started this organization, Bochy's
Yeah.
org, and from the experiences there, helping women who had been sex trafficked.
Right.
Tell a little bit more about that organization.
So Bochy's my late mother's first name.
Right.
It's her nickname. And it was Bochy's Place was the name of the safe house, but Bochy's Org is the name of the organization. I just wanted to memorialize my mom because she was the anchor of everything that I stand on, the traditions, the family, the nurturing, the love, the compassion, the love for Jesus. Like that, my mom was where I stood.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I was going to memorialize her when she passed away. But, and so what it was really was, as soon as we worked with organizations that rescued girls, we worked with the police departments, the hospitals, we worked with court systems.
Yeah.
And what we knew was once they were rescued and we interviewed them, we had to qualify these girls. They came to a place with us where it was going to be total rest and ground zero. We were going to take them back to ground zero and start over. And Brian, I'm telling you, it was anywhere from 17-year-old to 42-year-old was my oldest resident. And it was back to star charts. It was back to, if you get up on time, you get a point. If you brush your teeth, you get 2 points. If you brush your hair and put a bra on, you get 5 points. If you're at breakfast on time, and that's when I tell you we go back to the basics.
Yeah.
And so the points turned into Bochy bucks. And then I built on my property a boutique, which women would donate brand new stuff to. And so every point turned into a buck, and every buck they could go with their own integrity and dignity, and they could buy what they wanted in this little boutique with the Bochy bucks. And so, but what we were doing was reestablishing a new normal.
Yeah.
Because getting out of bed was an absolute miracle for them. Brushing their teeth was a major accomplishment because the trauma brain is so unbelievably crazy at what you cannot do when you're in trauma. And this is another thing that points back to us as women in everyday life is everybody has trauma, whether it's a car wreck or they were molested or abused or neglected or rejected or pushed away, whatever. Every single woman has something in their mind. Every man does too, that they've dealt with, that they call their own trauma. And I tell people all the time, you don't have to be sex trafficked or domestically abused to be traumatized. You can have, like I said, you could have tripped in the front schoolyard and everybody laughed at you and that never left you. So everybody's got a different level. But what I found is that as women, we push that down and we just keep pushing on and we raise our families and we clean those houses and we cook that food and we go to work and we do all the things and we neglect us. And when we're not happy, no one is happy.
That's right.
And so for me, it was watching that inside the safe house. We would take them completely off the grid, no internet, no TV, unless it was DVDs or something we approved, because we started to restructure their minds. I studied trauma and physics and neurology as a novice. I mean, I never went into school and did that. I just made it my business and I learned it. So I understood what it meant to rewire that brain. And so that's what we did. I did it off and on for 10 years. And so I understand the trauma brain, and I helped myself first. And I now can help women in the home and in work and just everyday women who just, I don't want to talk about this in therapy yet again. I don't want to, women, I tell people this all the time, just go through my course in your private time and see what it'll do for you. And Brian, I've had the privilege of hearing 100% of the time people take this course or work with me privately. They'll say to me, I've been in counseling 3 years, 7 years, which I love. I don't reject counseling. I love counseling. Everybody needs to do that. I've never felt more free in my life. And I'm like, that's why it's called the Freedom Formula.
There you go.
Because then we can do life free. Why do we have to be tied up? Why do we have to be upset? Why do we have to be angry? And I always say, when we're not overflowing the goodness of God, our house is a prison for our homes, for our family. Because if we're messed up, our family's in prison.
You're right.
They're tired and they're frantic and they're, like triggered about everything. So that's really like the overflow of those safe house days, and being able to work with those girls has just been the greatest honor of my life. And also to see the resilience of a human being.
Right.
You know?
And so I want to talk a little bit more about getting past the trauma stages and rewiring the nervous system, finding yourself again. I do want to tell our viewers and listeners that you can find Carla on carlashellis.com and all the social platforms. She's there. Find her YouTube channel and her podcast.
Yeah.
But after you at the start, I was interested. You said that originally you were trying to fix your husband and realized you need to fix yourself first. So talk about the importance of that when you work with women who are at a point that they need to find themselves again, find their purpose, rewire themselves. That how difficult is it to get them to realize that they need to fix themselves first before they can find their purpose?
So to the first point, I always want to make sure women hear me say this. This is one of my key points of teaching women is let's, and I can say this because I've run many companies. I've owned 5 restaurants and sold them. I raised my children. I'm not the trad wife that is milking cows in my backyard. I'm definitely a strong entrepreneur.
Right.
But my family comes first, period, end of discussion. I'm at home last night. I made dinner for my husband. I mean, that's my first priority is my husband and my children. And then the world comes next. So I am not one that's going to just say, well, I'm so busy. I've been busy. I've done a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But what I always tell women is men are created for 3 purposes: to war, to provide, and to protect. Let's just let them get on with that.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. They're so easy.
Yes, you're right.
We complicate them. So God said, and women, you're taking the rest. So you get to just handle the rest of everything else, which is the fun stuff. It's the pretty stuff, And so they have to go war, provide, and protect. That's heavy. Let's leave them to that. And so that's the anchor of my teaching. So when I say that, I mean, like, why? And I've coached a lot of girls who are ready for a divorce and they're tired, they're done. He's just not making me happy. I'm not happy. And I always say, well, let me give you some big news. Marriage is not meant to make you happy. If you're getting married to be happy, you are jacked to all get out.
Yeah.
Marriage is supposed to make you whole. Marriage is supposed to make you holy. That's why they call it holy matrimony. Marriage is not to make you happy. Happiness is a byproduct of you.
Right.
That's what. See,
Great
that's
point.
That's where we've gotten it all messed up, because then we look to our husband or our children to make us happy, and when we're not fulfilled, then we go look for something somewhere else, and we're in a constant jump. Whether it's drugs, alcohol, food, gambling, spending, adultery, whatever the vice is, we go look somewhere else for that happiness. And so my mission and my message to women is, you're responsible to make you happy. What you fill yourself up with is what overflows from you. What overflows from you is what everybody else gets.
Yeah.
But you need to get the fullness first. You see, so how do we do that? It's a breakdown of a system. And it starts with, this is all the things I share in the Freedom Formula, but it starts with the daily routines of changing your thoughts and changing what you say and changing how you see things. So instead of seeing things like being under pressure, okay, so my husband and I own a roofing company, have for 35 years. Well, we have ebbs and flows, we have highs and lows, and it used to be like strangling when we were in a season of slow work because we have huge overhead. And And I started changing that thinking, Brian. And I thought, you know what, Simon, let's not think like that anymore. Let's be happy. Let's be focusing and celebrating what we have, not what we don't have. Let's focus on where we're going, not where we've been. Let's focus on what we want, not what we don't want.
Yeah.
That changes everything.
Yeah, it does.
And if for women, if we focus on the things we love instead of the things that are driving us crazy, if we like laundry.
The never-ending process.
I hate laundry so much.
Yes.
But I stopped saying that and I started saying, you know what? My laundry time is going to be my specified time for my affirmations because I'm standing in one place looking at a wall.
Yeah.
So I might as well be looking at affirmations. So I changed that perspective, you see. So that's really where, for women who are struggling and thinking like, I feel like I am left behind. Because women, Brian, they primarily feel like they cannot meet the mark. They can't ever get it all done, and they're never good enough. They're always comparing themselves to someone else. That's our number one struggle. And so the thing is that we have to stop thinking along those lines. And our emotions are not going to do it for us. Our feelings are not going to drive us back to this place. It's an intentional decision. And so that's my message for women. And I honestly have such a heart for men because I think we're brutal towards men. I do. I think women are brutal. And when I go speak to women, I will tell them that. Like, stop beating your husband up for everything that you need. Who cares if you didn't notice that you got your hair cut? Yeah. You notice that. You celebrate that. And you be a light in your home. But you have to be that for yourself first. Like, let's just let these guys be guys. Let's stop trying to make them women. Let's stop trying to make them like I learned, Brian, when I talk to my husband, I have like 1 minute and 10 seconds to deliver how my day was.
Sure.
And it's in bullet points.
Yeah. You got to get it all in and then.
And then I know he'll go, how was your day? I'm like, great.
All right.
He goes, what'd you do? I had a meeting. I had a phone call, a Zoom, and now I'm here making dinner. He's like, great. And he walks out of the room. That's it.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
I call my girlfriends to say, oh my God, you're not going to believe what happened today. Me and Sue.
An hour and a half. Yeah.
Me and Sue. Sure. Sue and I will be talking, and I'm literally backing out of her driveway, and she's walking along the car with me, and we're still talking.
Still talking. Everything that was accomplished in 10 seconds with a man.
Yeah. And we have a funny story. Mike and Simon, your brother Mike.
That's my brother Mike.
Yeah. Drove to California together and then back in the Amway days. And me and Sue were like, so what did y'all talk about? And they were like,
we didn't talk.
Nothing. And we were like, you had to have talked about something. You were in the car for 48 hours. And they were like, that's the thing we like about each other. We don't have to talk. And I was like, you literally did not talk? He goes, I mean, I don't know. We might have said, this is the exit. I'm like, you did it. But that's just the beautiful differences between men and women.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned the word a while ago, intentional. And I know that you talk about that. You teach that, the intentional home.
Yeah.
What do you mean by having an intentional home?
Gosh, you've got good questions.
Oh, well.
You need to come work for me.
That's what I do.
The intentional, beautiful home for me is that I see my home as my sanctuary. I want women to see our home as our sanctuary, as our castle. I want my home to be the safe place for my family, not the battleground. And for so many years, Brian, it was the battleground for me. But I created that. And I'm calling women to the carpet on this because it is our job to create that. It's the anointing that we have. It's the touch that we have that changes that intention in that home. We cannot expect our husbands to come in and make the house beautiful and make it. I mean, if they help, my husband's a big helper. It's a bonus. But our spirit, what we touch, how we flow is what creates the atmosphere of the home. And I always say you can be the perfect decorator. You can have you're the perfect cook, amazing food, amazing house, everything's perfect. But if your soul and your spirit is crushed and you're angry and resentful and offended all the time, that house is a prison. And so my intention is be intentional at first, creating a home that is a safe place for your husband and your children.
Yeah.
When your husband comes home, I always teach, give him an hour in his cave. Don't talk to him. Don't hand him the kids. Give him an hour to decompress. Like if you only knew what he's been through for the last 8 hours, let him decompress. Then that's an intention.
Yeah.
Be intentional about cooking at least twice or 3 times a week. And if you don't have time for that, get something, put it on plates. Don't just throw a to-go box on the table. There's little things that I teach all throughout my socials that actually, because you know what, Brian? I want my husband, because we're empty nesters now, but it always was my husband and my kids, to know when they come home, it's like, oh, so nice here.
A sanctuary.
It's a sanctuary. So with intention, I put my candles on. I put music in the background. I always have lamps on in my house. That's an intention because it makes it feel cozy. Back in the day, I tried to have it tidy when I had a million kids in the house. Just a little picked up right before Simon got home, but not always. But it's really the heart's condition more than it is. And also, the other intention was I'm not going to be angry all the time anymore because I was so angry all the time. I felt like he wasn't doing enough to help me. I was overwhelmed. I was overloaded, and I wasn't communicating. So my intention became, I just want to be happy. I want to bring my happy self to my safe place, not my fake self, because my fake self was out my fake self was out in the world. Like the world got the best part of me. But then everybody comes home, and then my family, who I love the most, gets the worst part of me. That's the way it was for 20 years until I woke up and I realized, no, I need to reverse that. They get the best part of me first, and then whatever's left over.
And so speaking of home, I know you spend a lot of time teaching and certainly through your socials and other platforms, but the art of etiquette. And we've talked a little bit about emotional etiquette, but etiquette, and maybe that's a lost and dying art of things like how to fold a napkin in a napkin holder, how to set a table. How important is that for all of us to know, or for women to know how to greet and host people in your home, that type of thing?
So important. And it's important less because of the rules of it and more because of the heart behind it. I find, Brian, from the girls who were rescued out of sex trafficking, the girls who were rescued out of abusive homes, all the way to my friends who are billionaires, all of us want to know, what should we be doing? How do we do this right? Wait, what am I supposed to do? None of us want to look like we don't know what we're doing. A woman's heart is to actually fit in and to be able to appear to be elegant and classy. And so for me, etiquette it's a tool in your back pocket. It's not an absolute rule. In the old days, it felt like that. But now to me, it's like a tool. And so I'm not going to go to Chick-fil-A and have like all my fork and my knife, my salad fork and my knife. I'm not going to do that. I can eat on a napkin on the table, you know? But when I go to a nice environment where we're with clients or we're with friends or people that we're at a 5-star restaurant, I can pull that tool out of my back pocket and use that. How to set a table is also part of that. And I find that that's why women are responding so hugely to my channel, because they want to know. And now I have 60-something, 70-year-old women DMing me saying, my mother never taught me this. I'm learning from you, and I'm in my 70s. I also have 15-year-olds, boys and girls, DMing me saying, my mom doesn't teach me any of this. I'm learning. And they call me mom. Like, they'll go, hey, Mom, I love that. Thank you, Mom. So it's actually, people are hungry for that, because we want to know what to do. We never want to look like the animal in the room.
Right. No, out of place.
We want to know what to do. How do I do that? So I think that's why people are grabbing hold of it. But I think it's important because, Brian, what I saw was with the girls that I worked with, and this kind of then applied to everyone, is one girl emailed me probably 5 or 6 years after she was in the program. She said, I just needed to reach out to you and tell you that I have a job at a veterinarian's, and our boss took us out to a really fancy restaurant for Christmas. And she said, I have to thank you because I knew what to do at the table. And she said, finally, I don't feel like I don't belong based on my past. I felt like just because I knew how to handle myself at the table with all the forks and spoons, and I didn't, she knew what everything was and how to handle herself with the napkin, how, what order to use everything. She said, because you taught me that, and now I feel like I belong. Just on that one little thing. So I would teach them table etiquette, manners. You cannot burp at the table or pass
Sure.
gas. Like, come on, stop. I would actually take points away for that.
Yeah.
But just little things like that create a beautiful woman. And the identity of your woman is really within her heart. It's not what she can do or not do.
Right.
But when she knows, she feels equipped.
Exactly.
And she feels like she can go anywhere.
Yes. You're talking, or you're teaching things that have for women, to women, that I think you've said before that have just been battling or challenges for centuries or longer in identity and opportunity, just self-awareness, and that. What is the biggest challenge you think that women even today that you're able to assist and help with, continue to face, and maybe it's in their own, awareness of how much they can accomplish and can do, and are they keeping themselves down, or is society keeping them down?
So that's a topic for another podcast.
That's all right.
Because I am very fierce and passionate about the conversation that society is keeping us down. I can kick the walls down on that conversation. And I am not afraid of controversy in that. I won't address that here today because I can talk for 5 hours about that.
Yeah.
I do not believe that anybody has the power to keep you down unless you're physically restrained in a cage. Okay. My girls that I had that came out of cages, they were physically restrained. That's somebody had power over them.
Yeah.
But there was a sense in their mind that was powerless, which is how they even got into that position. Because, Brian, there's not a trafficker on this planet that's going to come after me.
No.
Because the traffickers themselves are very beat down and abused boys. So they're trying to find their power by dominating women. Okay.
Right.
So I don't say that to talk down to the women who are in abusive relationships. I'm saying that no one has power over you unless you give it to them. So the whole idea that society is holding us down is a subject that really, really winds me up, because we as women we were given so much in our creation. When we were 8 weeks in gestation as an embryo in that stomach of our mother, that's when we were determined to be a female. And when that moment happened, we were equipped with more than we can ever imagine, except society. Do you know that I think it was Alexander the Great or somewhere in those days actually named estrogen is from the word hysteria.
Okay. Yes.
Hysteria.
Wow.
Why? Because these men deemed women hysterical because they were passing out and they were crazy. Well, why? Because their corsets were too tight, so they couldn't breathe, and their actual ribs were being crushed. So they were reacting to that. And as a result of that, they were labeled hysterical and unreliable, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we've carried those labels all throughout society, and they just keep growing. But it's up to us. Because I'm going to tell you, if you look over history, it is women who have shaped and shifted societies.
Absolutely.
It's the march of women who have changed things. Because when we put our minds to something, things change.
There's no question.
Especially when we get together.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is that I do not subscribe to this concept that anything, society, your preference, whether it's a sexual preference or your heritage or your culture, your skin color, or your money or education, none of that determines who you are. What determines who you are is how you think about yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is driven by what happened to you in your childhood, how you were formed. We all have a parent that didn't meet the mark somewhere, that didn't validate us, or that hurt us, or that somebody has something. We all messed up somewhere along the lines. But we have so much information in front of us today. It's a matter of just choosing to believe. And I believe in the Bible.
Yep.
I believe that the Bible is our guide. I believe that within those words, we will find everything we need, and it actually fuels our soul. And so for me, women listening have to know that whatever the circumstances that they're in, they are not tied to that. You're not. I've seen women who have been trafficked for years come back and start a new life, and that is a remnant of the past. But and the good thing is that God created our brain in a way that can be redesigned and reformed. So we can actually close and atrophy the neural pathways that create beliefs.
Yeah.
We can close that, and we can, without thinking on those thoughts that were beliefs, it literally, in the brain, the actual fibers start to disconnect and they lose power. And when we start thinking about something over here and we add thoughts to that and repeat the thoughts, that begins to create an actual neural pathway through a connection, a synaptic connection. And when that pathway actually connects, it becomes a belief. And when you stop believing this, the old thought processes, it literally atrophies and breaks, and the power stops going to it, and the belief stops. And you turn back and you put the power over here, which is your daily affirmations. That's how that works. And what you see in front of you, it literally begins to change those thought processes. And the more you repeat it, the more it creates a new belief. And that's the direction your life goes in. So your life goes in the direction of what you believe. So I don't believe that society can hold us down. I believe that we hold us down.
Yeah.
Through a series of beliefs that come from our childhood.
Yeah.
Everything comes from the parent-child triangle, everything.
How do you, I'm fascinated by the rewiring of the nervous system and that thought process and changing to these new beliefs. In your programs, in your teaching, your classes, and I know there's a retreat, I want to talk about that too, but how do you approach that issue to start with, or the steps you use to help in this rewiring process?
My number one answer is always going to be getting in the Bible. The book of Proverbs is wisdom. The Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is the gospel. There's so much power in there that aligns with who we are as people and how we come back to our root system. Once we do that, to me, then I start drawing out. I have a system very clear. It's very easy steps. Number one is, where do you want to go? What do you want out of life? Let's stop thinking about what happened in the past. Let's just get a pen and a paper. Don't do it on your phone. Do it on a pen. There's so much power neurologically to pen in hand, ink on paper. It actually does the color. Even if you use blue ink instead of black, the color actually activates parts of your neurons that change the chemistry of your brain. Yeah. That's why also adult coloring books are so powerful.
Okay.
So if you actually start pen to paper, what are the top 3 things I want? Not what I don't want. What do I want? So you can't say, I want to be wealthy. Okay, well, that's too vague.
Sure.
How much money do you want to make a month over the next 3 months? Or how much debt do you need to pay off? Or you want to get married. I want to be married. Not, I don't want to be single. I want to be married.
Some positive.
So, whenever, and everything has to be like, I used to always say, okay, I'm not going to be late. I'm not going to be late. I'm not going to be late. My daughter would say, Mom, stop saying that. You got to start saying, I'm going to be on time. You see how that switches?
It's a different way of saying it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's all changing that pattern. So the first thing is write down the 3 things that you want, or 5 or 10 or 12, whatever your brain can release.
Yeah.
And then you do pictures around that. So if you look at if you look at my phone, my actual cell phone, I have 6 boxes of my vision for 2026. I have pictures and numbers, financial goals, personal goals, but I just have 6 boxes. And those, because you see your phone over 100 times a day.
Yeah.
So for me, I constantly, and in the center, it says, I walk in the favor of God. So I say that to myself 100 times a day in my head, in my subconscious thinking.
Sure.
So what happens, Brian, is whenever you start thinking these thoughts and you make an intention towards where you're going, you see, because we think 70,000 thoughts a day.
Just mind is racing on things.
So let's look at this. Let's break it down. If we think 70,000 thoughts a day, and as a woman, I'm also thinking, what is my husband thinking? What are my kids thinking?
Oh, yeah.
What is my friend thinking? Why didn't she call me back? Wonder what she's going through. What is she mad at me? What did I do? So I'm not only taking on my 70,000, I'm taking on everybody around me, because that's what we do as women.
Yes.
And men like to fix everything for everybody. So they want to think, how can I fix that? You know? And so 70,000 thoughts, but here's the dynamic part of that. 90% of those, 63,000 thoughts, this is scientific facts, 63,000 thoughts are about the past.
Wow. Really?
That's right. 7,000 are only about the future.
Okay.
So when I learned that from one of the leading neurologists, I was like, oh, my strategy brain kicked in, and I was like, I'm reversing that. I want 63,000 thoughts a day to go towards my future. And I want 7,000 thoughts about my past. And here's what else I want. I want to call that my wisdom seat, not my tragedy. I want that to be what I've learned from. You see, so it's all a positive.
Yes.
And so when you realize that, you think, okay, how do I make So then I started studying physics and realizing there's a thing around us, and that's called the toroidal field. That's our energy field. And there's a thing around that actually it's a magnetic field, electromagnetic field. And that field actually, scientists have said for generations, we don't know how it works, we just know it works. This is where the law of attraction comes in.
Okay.
And so what happens is the more you're untrained and the more you're unfocused. So if you're not focused on your future by vision and by words through your 5 senses, okay? If you're not focused on the future, you're automatically going to turn to the past. And that's what you're focused on.
Wow.
So if you don't have vision in front of you and you don't have words coming out of your mouth and intention in your mind, you're automatically going to the past. And that's where you live. So how can you ever succeed in life and get out of that cycle of the circle we live in whenever we're constantly trying to fix everybody, change everybody, think what you're thinking? Well, how can I make you feel better about yourself? Well, I don't want you to be mad. Well, how about this? I'm like, you got to work yourself out over there. Like, sort that out. I'm busy sorting myself out. Stand around me and you're going to be blessed. That's my focus now. So my thing is that so then we think about the subconscious mind. That's where all the thoughts are stored.
Right.
From the moment you were in your mother's womb. So even you want to hear something fascinating?
Absolutely.
The ear canal was the first thing shaped and formed in your body.
Really?
So everything you heard in your mother's womb shaped your brain and your body. Wow, it's correct. I was like,
okay,
that's crazy. So when my niece was pregnant, I was like, nobody yell around the baby.
It's absorbing all of that.
Yeah, I'm just going to speak life over that baby. So when you realize that, the 5 senses are how you change that subconscious mind. That subconscious mind's 90% of your thoughts. So your conscious mind is only your thinking. That's your decision maker. So those thoughts, Brian, are what's motivating your decisions of the past. So it's like an overwhelming amount of past thoughts that motivate your decisions today.
Yes.
So how do you change that? Through your 5 senses. That's why aromatherapy is such a massive part of my life, because what I smell, which is all my oils, actually change the dynamics of the chemistry of my brain. But vision and hearing is super important. So that's another big step. I very, very, very fiercely guard what I see and what I hear. So I will not allow in my house any horror films, any films where there's torturing. I told Simon, if you want to watch war films where people are having their arms sawed off, I respect that because you're a guy. Go do that in the office or in the bedroom. But you're not going to do it around me because that really bothers me.
Yeah.
So no pornography, no sex on TV. I just don't allow any of that anymore because I know that it's shaping my thoughts.
Yeah.
And these thoughts are subconscious thoughts, Brian, which means they have their own right in my head. And they're in control at 90% of which direction I'm going before I even make an intention. So that's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I'm trying to get people to understand is you have to guard what you see, what you hear, who you're associating with, and you got to put vision in front of you, and you've got to speak to to your future. And if you don't do that, you're just naturally going to fall to the past and live in that place and die early.
No kidding, and unhappy. One of the things, while we have the time to talk about it, you do so many things on so many different platforms to help women, and this is just fascinating. Again, you can find out much more. Go to Carla's site, carlashellis.com. But talk about the retreat that you, as part of the many things you offer women. What do you try to accomplish when you have women come there to kind of get away from their norm and then focus on whatever it is you're going to try to encourage them to do?
Brian, I love women with all of my heart. So we have 2 different types of retreats. One's kind of like a girls' trip where we go have fun together. And I took a bunch of women to London last year, and it was amazing. Another one is a more intensive. I only invite 12 women to that. And we spend all weekend doing what we're doing right here, except I actually pull out my whole freedom formula. We're in our pajamas on a couch around each other. We eat, we play, we do crafts. Like we learned how to ice a cake last time. We learned how to make candles. It's all things girls love to do together as friends. And we're all in one place. And then I spend maybe 3 sessions doing my Freedom Formula sessions where I'm unpacking, but I'm a visual teacher. So I have props and I have all kinds of fun stuff, and I engage them. But then we spend the evenings around a fire pit, and I'll say, what's going on with you? And then it just becomes 12 women just sharing their hearts, and I'm coaching each one of them. And they're all like helping each other, and it's just phenomenal. And it's so we have 2 more this year that we are actually going to be posting in the next few days. And those are my highlights, because I get to be knee to knee with women, and that's my happy place.
Well, that kind of summarizes the next question there. What when you step back and look at what all you kind of morphed out of this initial experience of trying to fix your husband, and then all of this happened from that. But when you see young women come from the depths of where they were to become empowered, motivated, purpose-filled, with intention in their life, love, how does that make you feel from what you've accomplished?
It's everything. It's important to me. I don't like my socials are blowing up. There are things happening all around me. We put a show on 2 networks over Christmas. We're hoping for a network to pick up our show again. We do a lot of stuff in the works. Business-wise, that's good stuff. I love it, because anywhere I can touch women and motivate them, I am. Yeah. But Brian, what really brings it home for me is when I hear somebody say, "I've never felt more free in my life." I'm like, yes. I mean, that's one more
freedom. Because
you know why? I want the home and marriage and the family to be restored, and I know it's her that's going to do it.
Yes,
her. I just know it will be. Men are supposed to fix men. Women are supposed to fix women.
And everything else.
And somehow along the way, we feel like we got to fix men, and we cannot. We just cannot. It's an endless cycle. I tried for 25 years and it didn't work. So I would say that when I see someone actually get set free and that they take their own life back, they love on themselves, and they allow themselves to love themselves and because here's my thing, and I'll end with this. When we go from overflowing, in other words, what's in me is my fullness. That's for me. Yep. What overflows belongs to Simon and my kids and my friends. And that took me from doing all the time to just being. Yeah. That's what I want for these women to understand. You can go from doing to being. And when you get to be, you just get to flow. There's no stress. There's no striving. And that's, to me, the secret to a happy life.
Well, you're impacting a lot of women and just doing so many great things. Just keep doing that.
Thank you.
And you're helping a lot of people. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Built for This. Be sure to follow Built for This on your favorite listening platform and share it with a friend. Join me on the next episode when I will share entertaining stories of inspiration, encouragement, and purpose-driven experiences. What are you built for? Built for This is produced and recorded by Heart Media DFW.